BJ McLeod might be the greatest financial mind of our times. All right, seriously though, we are here to talk about charters and all of that fun stuff. There's a report on how much Stewart-Haas Racing sold one of their charters to Front Row Motorsports for, so we're going to talk about that, read that article. And yeah, there's still lots of charters out there to be bought, obviously three from Stewart-Haas Racing, and I guess maybe more. But let's just go straight into it. So Adam Stern reports that Front Row Motorsports has agreed to pay between $20 and $25 million for a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing, according to people familiar with the terms of the transaction, a drop from the record fee paid for a charter last year. Front Row announced last week that it was buying a charter just days after Stewart-Haas Racing confirmed it would shut down after this season. The exact sale price was unclear, but a person with direct knowledge of the matter confirmed it was between $20 and $25 million. That's compared to the nearly $40 million paid for a charter last year in a deal between Spire Motorsports and the now defunct Live Fast Motorsports. Before this sale from SHR to Front Row, charter prices had been on an upward march in recent years, increasing 11-fold in value as NASCAR debuted a new car model that brought in fresh owners to the sport. Out of the three other SHR charters, 2311 and Trackhouse have been linked with buying one apiece, while the fate of the fourth one is unclear. The drop in price from the record fee paid last year is largely a function of supply and demand, as there have been roughly half a dozen charters on the market this year, sources say, with 4 from SHR and a couple other teams that are open to selling one. Also contributing to the situation is that NASCAR and teams have yet to formally agree on a new revenue sharing system and charter agreement. For the moment, that has seemed to limit demands to only teams already in the sport as opposed to new outside investors. Charters have been NASCAR's quasi-version of franchising since 2016, and they turned into crucial assets for teams. NASCAR's 15 chartered teams are negotiating to extend the charter agreement, which NASCAR has offered to do for 7 years guaranteed with an option for a further 7 afterwards, according to sources. Front Row, which will become a 3-car team next year, declined comment. The team is controlled by Bob Jenkins, an entrepreneur who owns more than 260 Taco Bell franchises, among other business interests. And it goes on to say the team has also been in discussions to lease SHR's shop after this year, though it was not clear whether those talks have successfully concluded. Its top sponsor is Love's Travel Stops. So yeah, actually more questions answered there other than just the charter price itself, which we now see at that $20 to $25 million value. But we also see later down in this article about Love's Travel Stops. There's been questions. Will they leave with Michael McDowell? They've stayed with Front Row for the majority of the time, even before McDowell. But, if Michael McDowell, when he goes to Spire, what are the odds that Love's leaves? And I don't think a lot of people thought they would because they've been so loyal to Front Row. But that makes it seem like Front Row will indeed stay partnered with Love's Travel Stops. And then there's been tons of discussion, rumor reports about SHR potentially selling not only the charters, but their race shop to Front Row Motorsports. Obviously, Front Row expanding their team. They're going to need a little bit more space for the 3-car operation. And of course, they have a trucks team as well. So they would need a little bit more space, and Stewart-Haas Racing being a 4-car operation shutting down, that would work perfectly for them. So no real shock there, but obviously nothing confirmed either in terms of if they're actually going to do it. But yes, the report's still saying Trackhouse 2311 interested in a charter. And then another big thing in here is that it said that there could be more charters available, or a couple other teams that could be interested in selling charters if the price is right. And that, I feel like that's how it's been for the majority of this thing. Is that some teams don't necessarily want to sell. They're not actively looking to sell a charter to someone, but when someone approaches them with the right price, like last year with Live Fast Motorsports, BJ McLeod getting offered $40 million for a charter, they were like, oh, $40 million? Yeah, we can't turn that down. So there are some of those situations that just end up happening and they end up selling. So maybe there's some teams that are thinking, we're not looking to sell, but oh, you're offering us a lot of money, like more than we thought we could get, then yeah, we might sell. But I'm curious to see who it would be because we look at the multi-car teams right now. Obviously, Front Row is not selling. Trackhouse 2311, they're not selling. Hendrick, Gibbs, like we can state the obvious, but even like Spire is not selling, I don't think, because they've got a 3-car operation that's going pretty good. They got McDowell signed on to that 3rd car now, the 71 car. So I'm trying to figure out who it would be. Could it be a Rick Ware Racing trying to dump off their 2nd car, focus all on 1 car maybe? I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there. Could it be JTG? You know, there's a lot of question on that ownership, even though Stenhouse just signed an extension. But I really don't know. Those are just a couple random names I threw out there. But as for the value itself of the Chargers, 20 to 25 million, obviously, when these Chargers first existed, I think in 2018, I want to say, Furniture Row, maybe, I think that was who sold a Charger, and they sold it for 5 million, 6 million, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And then obviously last year with the 40 million, that may be the peak. It may increase once again, but obviously with so many Chargers being sold right now, 4 from Stewart-Haas, and of course, maybe a couple others somewhere out there, we just don't know where, that has kind of decreased the value for now. Obviously, once those Chargers from Stewart-Haas get snatched up and maybe there's only 1 or 2 left and someone wants them, that may drive the price back up. But as of today, as of right now, it's looking like 20 to 25 million. So if Stewart-Haas can get that for each charter, they're looking at 80 million to $100 million in terms of their grand total for the Chargers. And then obviously, I don't know how much their team shop is valued, how much their parts, all that stuff, whatever it may be, whatever they have to sell. But yes, a very interesting report there. Other than that, we've got 2 races upcoming this weekend in NASCAR with the Xfinity Series and Cup Series. We got the F1 race in Canada, so it's a manageable time here in the US of A, which is nice. But it's a full weekend. I'll do my best to get those race recaps. We got Cup Series practice and then qualifying tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. We got some Australian Supercars guys making their Cup Series debut, so that'll be fun. So make sure to tune in for that. But once again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Any other news that comes out, I will do my best to let you know. And I will see you guys in the next video.